This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, Joe Castello here, WFO Winners Edition. That's right, we got our first winter views since March here on this show. We're going to connect with Matt Hagan, funny car winner, E3 Spark Plugs Nationals out there at Lucas Oil Raceway. Get ready for another race here this weekend. If you're out there watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, our Facebook group, What's Up WFO group, welcome to you. Start a watch party. Share the show. Hagan going to be here in just a couple of seconds from now. You're going to hear Matt Hagan. Jason Line. I know a lot of you are tuning in to see Jason Line. Jason Line not going to make it today. We're going to catch up with him tomorrow. Jason had to leave the shop, internet access, mountains, etc. Not going to work for this. And we had to decide, like, get Jason on the phone, do podcast only. No, man, we're going to try to get him tomorrow and make it happen. So Matt Hagan going to be our sole guest here today. He is just seconds away. Right now, though, I want to tell you about the people who make it possible. Just allow me a couple of seconds to tell you about Marvin Rodak, who has the best coffee in the world, literally from around the world. Marvin Rodak is roasting up coffee fresh per your order. It shows up in the mail, not just the coffee, but hot sauces and spice rubs, everything good. If you're a grill meister, he could sell you a grill. If you're down there in Fort Worth, Texas, if you're somewhere far off distant lands, you can still get a bag of coffee from Marvin Rodak, and he is a drag racer, and it is literally roasted fresh per your order. So give him a call, 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, from stock eliminator to Formula One technology, whether it be their gas-ported rings to the gapless rings. Total Seal has got technology that is through the roof, and that's why all the top engine builders are using Total Seal piston rings, especially for the LS and the Coyotes and all these high-powered street cars. Very narrow rings, making a whole lot of power. Total Seal piston rings. We got the podcast Hidden Horsepower that we do for Total Seal. Also, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. You can become a champion drag racer, of course, by going to Frank Hawley's, but you can also have the fun of the dragster adventure, and you need to give him a call or go to frankhawley.com to find out more information. You show up with nothing. They provide you everything, and you can drive a dragster and get that experience, that thrill. Or maybe you want to learn to drive an alcohol funny car or super comp or super gas car. Go to frankhawley.com, see what they offer. But so many champion race car drivers have started out at Frank Hawley's. And samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology, just uploaded a new factory stock podcast for the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown. But Samtech is really all about the next generation of engine builders, of machinists, of CNC programmers. If you're a relatively young person, you're thinking, man, I love racing. This is what I want to do, but can I make a living? The answer is yes, you can make a good living, and you can wake up every day, will be different, and you'll be doing something you love. That is samtech.edu. And yes, Factory Stock Podcast is available now. All right, before we go any further, let's bring in our guest. He's the funny car winner at the E3 Spark Plugs NHRA Nationals, and he was the only DSR funny car driver that did not join us on Friday's show. But it's kind of fitting because now we get to talk to him. So we talked to all 4 DSR funny car drivers in our last 2 shows. Pretty cool. Matt Hagan joins us now. Matt, what's up? Congratulations. Oh, you're muted. I've unmuted you. You got to unmute. You're muted.
Is that better?
That is better. Whatever you said, I'm sure it was great. How you doing?
Just technology challenge over here, man. You know, it's like, we get to go 300 miles an hour, but can't operate an iPhone.
No, that's not true. It's not what you focus on. If you focused on it, you'd be a wizard, and that's the deal. You focus on building your body, and look, you're an ace. You focus on being a businessman, and you're doing a great job. You focus on driving funny cars, and the proof is in the pudding. So I think it was great. What was it like being back? Just that, being back.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, man. I mean, honestly, I didn't know if it was going to happen. I think that the biggest thing that we, challenge is every week, is it unraveling, or are we going to really still do this? And, to be a part of the NHRA and then putting their foot forward and, obviously, kind of doing the steps that we needed to do and wearing the mask and taking the precautions and doing all that stuff to make it happen. I was just proud to be a part of it.
I think it was great to watch. Of course, I would have loved to have been there, but they're ramping up to that. They're bringing in more cars. They're bringing in more people. And in the end, though, when you strapped on that helmet, Was that even in your mind, or did you feel like you were back in, prior to COVID, pure competition, or were you aware, seeing everybody wear masks and all of that? Was it on your mind?
Yeah, it's definitely different because you're signing in and you're signing waivers and you're taking your temperature, and so it's a different feel walking into the track. But what was really cool was that I can't imagine racing without fans, right? So, and the reason I say that, it was like in the final there was still probably 50 or 100 people around my pit area, and they were just still rooting me on and like, you got this, and they were pumping me up, and like that's God. I mean, it just like motivated me to get in that race car and cut a good light and thinking about what we're doing and wanting that win. I mean, that truly, I love our fans as much as our fans love us. You know what I mean? Like, to have those people there still rooting for you. I can't imagine crawling in that race car and being in a final and there's nobody there. There's nobody going like, you got this, or good job, or you can do it. Let's go get them. That kind of stuff. So I love that, man. I love that we have fans back there behind the pits. And even though we got a little 6-foot barricade, they're still there. They're still hanging over top of it with a mask on, rooting for you and hollering. And, so that was really special to me to know that, we're still doing this with fans in the stands.
I think it's great as well. I know NHRA jumped through, I don't want to say they jumped through hoops. They did what they had to do to make it possible. They had fewer people than they were actually allowed to see if they could manage it. And what you just described is the heart of a drag racer. This sport is all about fan interaction, and they can talk to you while you get ready. That is the core of the sport. They can talk to you while you get ready, and they support you. And that's exactly what happened. They were there, they were supporting you, and we do not see you, but we can hear you. So that's something.
Absolutely. Can you see me still?
No, I cannot see you. You're just a dark screen, but I hear you. You sound great. You sound great.
Well, we tried to do this like do not disturb, and then like everybody cut. My phone never stops ringing, man. Like with these businesses and stuff, it just doesn't stop. So I apologize about that. But I don't know what I got to do here to get back on camera. But but anyway, let me see here.
Here's what to do. I'll just kick you out, and you just go back through the link. I'll just kick you out, and you go back through the link. That's the way we do it. That's the way we do it, everybody. And you queue up your questions for Matt Hagan now while he is gone, and then we'll hit him with some questions. If you guys got questions, and no Jason Lyon today. I knew it was going to be a challenge. To get the winners. They're out. There's racing next weekend. There was racing last weekend. And so bottom line, though, if you want some WFO radio stickers, now is a perfect time for me to tell you, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address below, Castello Media /WFO stickers, P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. And I will send you some WFO radio stickers for your toolbox, for your car, whatever you want to do them. And Matt is back. See, that's it. If that's the worst thing we got to deal with, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it'll be all right. But yeah, I mean, I think that they did everything they needed to get, this moving forward, and whatever the normalcy may be, leading into it, I think we took the precautions to make that happen. I mean, it was tough on seeing my guys, at 100 degrees and wearing a mask and wrenching and sweating. And I truly felt for them. I was like, gosh, guys, I wish you could just pull those masks off and breathe and all that stuff. But they kept them on, and they did, they followed the rules, and the fans followed the rules. And, and you can't do any more than that. I think that, obviously this is a horrible thing that's happened, and a lot of people have lost their lives, but eventually we got to get back to life, you know what I mean? And, you can't hide it under a rock forever, you know what I mean? And as Americans, that goes against everything that we do, you know what I mean? So, we're going to be out here and making it happen and find ways to be intuitive and get back to life,
I agree. And we're testing it. We're figuring it out. We're sorting it out. And they're saying that the mask is it's a big part of it. And I'm kind of harassing my audience. Like, nobody likes wearing a mask. Like, nobody likes it. Like, this is great. I love this. Nobody likes it. It's a bummer, man. But you wear it and we can go racing. It's as simple as that.
Hey, buddy, if I got to wear a mask to go 330 miles an hour, I'll wear a mask all day.
Right. And look at the stuff that you wear that's way less comfortable than the mask to be safe. And so we need to take a cue from you. Let's talk about your round by round, though. In qualifying 2 sessions, what's that like, Matt? Is it nerve-wracking to know There's 18 cars, there's 16 spots, there's only 2 sessions. That weather was not so much for the funny cars, but rolling in for the fuelers on Saturday. You ended up 6th. Dickie seemed to have a plan going in, but how did you guys handle qualifying?
So what helped really for us was we had 2 laps on Friday, half trackers to kind of like, tune the car in a little bit. And we kind of realized that from 3:30 on, it's going to be a little tough to dictate the racetrack because we were used to running on 95-degree track or 85-degree track, out there in the first start of the season. We had a really fast race car being number 1 at both events. And then, coming into, 4 months later where you have a 140-degree racetrack, it takes, what people don't understand is like, it's not as hard to make these cars go as fast. It's harder to slow them down. And to watch Dickie, make the adjustments and do what we needed to do to navigate the racetrack, and obviously the transitions and the bumps and the stuff like that to help the car not unload. And, I was really proud of him to come out with rolling out with a really fast race car and be able to slow it down that much to even, we were having issues with looping the tire on the big end. And, it's kind of a judgment call of whether you stick with it or you pull your foot out of it, or if you got cylinders out, how long you run it, So as a driver, there's, it puts me in one of those situations where nobody can make that call but me. And, if something happens, it's my fault, but like, it's still a team effort because he's trying to slow it down and figure out how to not loop the tires. And I'm trying to leg it out there as long as I can to get the best qualifying. But, that's why we work so good as a team. Like we talk and we communicate and we have a game plan and different things like that. And he finally got a hold of it, I guess it was the last qualifying run. It didn't loop the tire out there. And I'm like, well, you give this guy enough runs and he's going to be dangerous, So, and that's what he did. We kept lane choice all day long. And I really think that helped us win in the final. And I'm just such a preacher of lane choice. You know what I mean? I just, reaction times are great and people dive them in there to make it look like they're, whatever, great driver or great lever or whatever it may be. But I'll take ET and lane choice, every single round versus reaction time. I've won more races having lane choice and having a decent light or a good light versus, diving it in there and having, some exceptional looking light and robbing ET from my crew chief and my team, So we kept lane choice us then all day, and, it paid off for us. That's really coming down to those hot racetracks like that and learning to be a racer and doing the right thing, even though it might look like the best driver in the world, because it's tough to cut a light in these things. I mean, if I'm 60 to 80, I'm feeling pretty good about it. You start dipping down in the 40s and 50s, you're killing it, and you can make it look however you want, but you're hurting your team by doing that. You know what I mean? So I had to learn a long time ago before I started winning a lot of races, that you got to check your ego at the door, and you got to be a good racer on Sunday, and you got to, sacrifice what things might look the greatest for you. But, I'd rather have a Wally. Nobody remembers my reaction time.
And that's why you won a couple of championships. Got Craig Garland out there wishing you congratulations. That's what's better about this deal is we've got people saying congratulations to you in live timing, and that's what's great.
Awesome.
We welcome.
Thank you so much.
And so let's pick up the results. Round 1, Dan Wilkerson, the second Wilkerson car. Chad Green going to be running that car this week. And Dan is like a fired up young guy. He knows how to tune. He knows how to drive. But in the end, in what was a decent race, you got down 402, won the race to set up an all DSR matchup with Jack Beckman. Tell me about getting ready for Beckman and the Wilkerson run.
Yeah, the Wilkerson run is kind of wild. Like, I licensed in Wilkerson's car, and basically Dan was wearing the same helmet that I had on 15 years ago when I was running Wilkie's car. And, when I bought it to have my own team to run NHRA and everything else. And so, like, that brought back so many memories watching him pull that helmet on, and it fired me up getting that race car. And just knowing what a great family that Wilkerson team is over there. Like, his dad is unbelievable. I try to, really put myself around like Wilkie. I mean, what would Wilkie do kind of thing? You know what I mean? He's just an exceptional human being and great guy. And, I don't know if anybody's got a bigger heart and smart guy, racer and all that kind of stuff. And his kids are the same way, you know what I mean? So anytime we get to run any of the Wilkersons, it ain't no BS up there. So let's go race our race cars, and they're stand-up people, and I always enjoy racing them, and you just never know. Like I said, that was a car they brought out. I know that they probably weren't going to try to burn up a bunch of parts and different things like that. So, just one of those things where, you don't step on your own toes. You get it down the racetrack and you do what you got to do,
And you did with a 402 setting up the run against Beckman. Beckman We spoke with him on Friday, and he's been strong at the start of the season. He's been strong at the start and the end of last season, and they've been good. And the car's been doing what they wanted it to do, and that's what he said. Like they kind of got in that position, and that was one of the runs of the day. His 96.9, your 94.9. You guys left for the most part together, and
he left. I think he left on me a little bit. You know what I mean?
69 to an 80. So 11,000.
Yeah, he had 100 on me. Yeah, whatever, and then. Or thou, or whatever, but it's just one of those things where that all matters when you're running that close. You know what I mean? And next time that we run, I'm like, this dude ain't gonna leave on me. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I love going back, and I hate getting left on. I'm usually pretty good at leaving on people, but every now and then you're going to. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where that sticks with me in my mind. I'm like, that could have cost me the race right there. You know what I mean? So it's time. My crew chief did an exceptional job and make sure we run strong enough to turn that wind light on, but I don't ever want it to be on me. So, next time you run back, man, you're going like, all right, buddy, here you go. Here it comes. You know what I mean? So that kind of thing. So I love doing that. But that was just a great drag race. It's one of those things where if I'd have been on the backside of it, I'd have bit my tongue and went over and shook his hand, but you can't be mad about it. You know what I mean? That was just a good old fashioned drag race, and we ended up on the right side of it.
There you go. Now, semifinals. Speaking of Wilkerson and what would Wilkie do, you got to experience Daniel in the first round, and then Tim in the semis with that new look Levi Ray and Schaub car, which is kind of cool. Wilkerson's been hitting on it pretty well as well. Like they were a little lost middle of last year, but then towards the countdown, they started to show some real life and some really strong performances. And after this break, it looks like they still got it. Your 395.9 at 322.078. Your reaction times to that point, by the way, were within like just a couple of thou, 72, 80, 78. So right within that tolerance, and you were able to get the win and go to the final round against Tommy Johnson. So tell me about the Wilk run and then getting ready for the final.
Yeah, the Wilk run, obviously the track starts to heat up and you start having to really listen to the crew chief making some calls and, kind of figuring out how long you're going to do the burnouts and figuring out, basically how hot the clutch is going to get and different things like that. And, as that track gets more heat in it, that it gets less grip in it, and, you have to watch these crew chiefs make some decisions, and there's a lot more chatter in the ear and stuff like that. So, paying attention to all that, you also have to pay attention more to your driving. And making sure that you're in the groove and that you're not, half a tire out or this or that, because that really starts to make a difference in whether you're going to smoke the tires or go out there and lose the round. So as it gets hotter, it gets more challenging to drive these cars, and you got to start being more focused as you get into the finals and stuff like that. Anyway, and Wilkie, he's just a good, solid car, and his reaction time in the last year or so gotten great. You know what I mean? So it used to be I didn't worry about Wilkie, and now I'm like, what's this guy got now? You know what I mean? So, so he keeps me honest, you know what I mean? And that's I love that. Like, there's too many people keeping me honest, to be honest with you out here. So it's just, it's one of those things where, good car, great guy, and love running him, and he's one of the few people that ever text, after the race, when you race him, and he's like, glad you got it, buddy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, and just stand up, dude. But like, got a good car, good family, good team, and they're coming around, and we got the win light on that. But as as the track gets hotter, it gets tougher and tougher to get into, mitigating those conditions.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's going to get his share. Hopefully, like a series where Wilkerson wins a race or two each year is good because he's got his own fan base, different kind of fan that loves Tim Wilkerson. All right, final round, and you seem to have frozen up, but I think it'll come back. So one way or another, final round, he could still hear me for all I know. And there he goes. He's going to just come back in, and I will just say that. Now, everybody wants to know about what he thinks about the Force team, right? I will ask him. I'm not crazy. I will ask him, but after we talk about the final round, because he had that big explosion, and we'll get into that. Right now, Matt is coming back, and Matt is back, and Matt's back, and just like that. Yuki, you are a very diligent guest. Thank you for the effort.
Man,
final round.
My phone just never quits,
That's good, though, man. The phones are ringing. I wish it was like here at WFO Radio, like our sponsor hotline. We would be great. But you and Tommy, we spoke with Tommy. Tommy's been good. Tommy went out there in Arizona. You guys squared up. I want to know about the race, but you had a massive explosion and even got hit by a part. And people have been asking, like, Dale wants to know if it was a valve or whatever it was that hit you. So you had a kind of an interesting final round en route to the Wally.
Yeah, I think that having lane choice against Tommy, I don't know if we got it by mile an hour or what, but it was really close. We actually rolled up there not knowing that we had lane choice, and basically Dickie had loaded all the graphs and everything in for the other lane because we thought we were going to be put in the right lane. And then we, you know, they're like, you know, they said we had lane choice, and we're like, no, we don't. And then, you know, basically Dickie was like, we're going to do the right thing here. We're going to make sure we have lane choice. You know what I mean? And we're not going to just, you know, take it or whatever and assume it. So it was kind of cool to see Dickie, like, he straight up, he was like, we're not going to, you know, just because they rolled up here and said we didn't think we did. And we could have been like, okay, be quiet and roll into whatever lane we want. But, you know, to watch Dickie go like, no, we're going to make sure we do this the right way, and we're going to make sure we have lane choice, and we're not going to sneak nothing by nobody or anything like that. It was cool. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a respect thing for whoever's beside of you. And, but having lane choice, I really think helped us win that race. We stayed in the left lane all day long. And, you know, when we put Tommy over in the right, there's some bumps to mitigate and some different things like that. And, you know, and they've been in the left all day. You know, they had the car to beat. They had, honestly, you know, I was like, this is the car we got to beat today. Like, because they were running good. They were number one qualifier. They ran good all day. And just so happens that, you know, they put a cylinder out at the hit, smoking the tires and everything else. And on race day, you just don't know where anything's at. You know what I mean? Your adrenaline's going, and, you know, in qualifying, you're more laid back and you're listening to the motor and you're feeling the car, and you know, you got a real handle on it. If it does something, and natural instinct is pull your foot out of it. On race day, your heart's beating out of your chest and you're trying to think, and you're looking at the finish line, and you're just, you know, keyed up so much, making sure you're cutting a good light. And, you know, and especially in the final, I get super pumped up in the final. You know, it's like, you know, for me, that mentality is like, my guys have worked all day long and we're here. Now there's no reason we shouldn't seal this deal. You know what I mean? So, like, that mindset of getting pumped up and focusing and, you know, listening to your breathing and making sure you're in tune with the car and everything else, like, that's what's flowing through my head. It's not so much of driving the race car anymore. It's like for me, I break it down and take one thing at a time. And the first thing is the reaction time, you know what I mean? And then making sure that's good. And then the driving the car should be a natural reaction, you know, but in doing so, you know, there's still going to be things that happen, and you have to make a judgment call out there on whether you should pedal it, leg it out, turn it off, you know, all that kind of stuff. And on race day, it's just, I don't know what it is, man, but it's just always hard to pull your foot out of it. You know what I mean? You're just like, whatever it takes, you know what I mean? Pedal it, whatever. But it went out there and spun the tire pretty hard, and looking at the video, it didn't even have smoke rolling off of it yet, but it pretty much, when it bounced off the rev limiter, I should have pulled my foot out of it and pedaled it, and, you know, I just legged it out, and I legged it out as far as I could, and it popped on me and blew up. And, you know, and one of those things where you're like, damn, that's not cool. You know, like, obviously costing the boss man a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, it just banged the blower, and all the rods and everything else were in it, and wasn't that big of a deal. But, you know, it's just one of those things where you know, I guess the last time I won on fire blowing up was Reading and Page Sports Center, you know what I mean, kind of thing. But it just, you know, you would love to win clean and not have an explosion and everything else. And but that's racing, man. That's why we crawl in those cars. You never know what's going to happen. And I mean, if it was just some generic deal all the time, I'd be doing something else, you know.
Well, exactly. And so what was it that hit you? Was it just the sensation, or was it an actual part, or?
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just bouncing around in the concussion and this and that. I mean, you know, my knee definitely got banged up, but, you know, I'm all good now. I got with the track doctor. He got me on some anti-inflammatories, and everything's good. And, you know, I'm ready to go racing again. You know, it's stiff, obviously, the first night. You know, it's laying there, and you wake up and you can't bend it to get it out of bed and everything else, and you're going like, well, that ain't good. You know, I mean, hopefully in a couple of days we'll be all right. But I feel great about it now, and it's just, you know, it's tender, and it's my driving foot, and, you know, it's your knee and stuff like that. But I have no idea. I think it's more or less got banged around in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard for me to even fathom that something would come into our cockpit with the titanium shield and all the stuff that we have, and, you know what I mean? But all I know is it got beat up a little bit. It could have been from bouncing around and, you know, here and there, but, you know, it just got tender. And, you know, like I said on TV, I've had a cow kick me worse than that, so I'll be all right.
There you go. All right. So we're racing again this weekend. Every round counts. There's no countdown this year. So you got a good car. You can make some hay now. You get a couple of wins, make some hay, right? Perfect analogy
right. Well,
for you. And we don't really know. We don't know how long, how many. We don't know. So you got to get while the getting's good.
Well, I'm hearing, like, and this may be, you know, falsified, but I'm hearing that Denver's a go. So I'm excited about that. You know what I mean? Like, I know Vandermeer had some issues with some you know, overpopulating the track and different things like that. But the word that I heard from some folks that I trust this morning is, like, we're good to go. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited about that, and I know the Vandermeers are, if that's the truth. I mean, don't take my word for it.
Right,
Do your own
right.
investigation. But
Rumor.
that excites me. You know what I mean? Because I really didn't know where we were going to end up after this next race. Because you look out and on the schedule, there's nothing there really until September. You know what I mean?
Well, there it is. Matt getting a call. He's a very busy guy. This is sponsor hotline, Matt Hagan. And there he is. He's back. Just like that. He's back. These guys are busy dude.
Yeah, sorry.
He's busy. No, don't
again. But
yeah.
But yeah, so you look at the schedule and you're like, would Brainerd, Minnesota even work, or this and that? You know what I mean? So like, you look at things and you're like, well, the next time we roll back here is probably Indy in September, and that's a long ways away. So I'm excited that Denver might make, and that possibility is still there and it's open, and so that to me, like, I don't know, it makes me feel good, man. I'm like, we might get to go do some more racing,
I hope so. All right. So you might be able to see, first of all, everyone needs to know that Matt was pulling in to go get lunch, right? He's got to feed that giant body of his. So we're not going to ask him too many questions, but you might see in the comment section, people are asking a couple of questions, multiple people asking the same question. So I'll just hit you with the general theme of the question. Like, you've battled John Force for championships a couple of times. Force was not at the track. That's like a kind of a shocking thing to a lot of people. We're still waiting to find out the reasoning why, et cetera, from John. But just what was that like, to know that the guy that you set your sights on to go out and beat when you got into Funny Car was not out there racing. And to me, like, that is the transition of the sport. There will be a time, maybe this year, maybe next year, maybe 5 years, where it's not going to be John Force anymore. It's going to be guys like Matt Hagan that have to carry the sport. So what was that experience like?
Man, it's not normal, man. You know what I mean? Like, as much as you want to, be like John and have the fame and the, all the other stuff and whatever, but like, it's just not, it just doesn't feel normal without him there, man. I was actually sad that he wasn't there. And, for a guy that, even if he doesn't bring his race car there, I kind of expected him to show up and support what we're doing and all that kind of stuff. And, it's one of those things where I have so much respect for John Force. I mean, the guy come up from nothing and built his empire and doing what he's doing. And I mean, maybe he has certain reasons why he wasn't there, but like, I truly wished he was there. It'd be good for our sport. No, even when John steps away from driving, he can be a team owner and still drive fans to the stands, and people are going to come up and want to see him. And eventually I understand, you don't want to shake hands the rest of your life and you want to go sit on the beach and do what you want to do or whatever it may be. But he's such a huge part of drag racing, and, he has such a huge following. And, I mean, I'm sure there was plenty of people that were disappointed that he wasn't there just to, to say hi and different things like that. But John, I'm sure, has his own reasons, and, you got to respect those and understand that it's difficult times, and, there's plenty of reasons for not to be there, you know what I mean? But I wish he was there, and I have respect for him and love for him, and I hope whatever reason that he's not there, hopefully he can show up this next weekend. And I don't know that that's going to be the case, but at the end of the day, we still miss him and love him, and he's a big part of our sport, and we'd love to have him back out there.
There you go. And Edwin wants to know your 3 favorite tracks during the season. Edwin always is a veteran, right? Army veteran. So we always afford him some. The veterans get to ask questions. 3 favorite tracks.
Favorite track. So obviously Bristol. That's usually Father's Day weekend. Your family's there. You look like a hero when you win in Bristol, especially since it's my hometown track. So everybody that grew up and didn't think that this bracket racing would turn into anything, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool to see all the shirts and the folks that are rooting you on, And then I love Denver. I don't like how I can't breathe up in Denver, but I truly love Denver. Like the track, the Mopar, the whole deal, the feel, the atmosphere, the people. Denver's amazing. And then I have to say Pomona, even though, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where Pomona history's been made. You know what I mean? Like, when you roll into Pomona, it's a start and finish kind of deal. And when you're there at the end of the season, and and I've been very blessed in my career to be, battling a championship almost the entire time, except for a year or two out of my last 10 or 12 career, years that I've been in this deal. There's just something special that, when champions are crowned there and everything comes together, and you accomplish your goals, and you've set world records, and like, that's happening all there most of the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, to me, there's a special place for that. And that's been created in my heart for, champions that we start and finish there in Pomona.
And 2 times you've got to enjoy that champions party after party. And I would not have understood it until, the last few years I've got to be there and understand, like, wow, this is, it's the end of the Cannonball Run. And when you're the champ at the end of it, there's nothing better than that. You're celebrating with your crew. Brother. Everybody's hanging in the pits.
Yeah.
Sun goes down.
That's something nobody can take that away from you ever in your entire life, man. Like, you've earned that. You can't buy that. Like, we've had billionaires race with us, and and not to name names or anything like that, but you can't buy it. You can't go out here. You can spend money, but it comes down to 10 people with one common goal and a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, and it all comes together. And that's something that's yours for the rest of your life, and you've earned it. You know what I mean? That's super special, man.
Amazing stuff. All right, Matt. Everyone wants to know what you're gonna eat for lunch. What are you gonna? Some sort of
since I'm trying to fit back in the fire suit in the car. I mean, it wasn't like I was snug or nothing, but I'm gonna hit up a salad bar here at Ruby Tuesdays.
Okay. Now, do they get upset when you come in? Like, do you go back and forth to the salad bar like 10 or 15 times, or do you just?
Well, I'm kind of lazy too, so I just fill my plate up like massively, and they're going like, "What are you gonna do with this? It's dripping off the sides and everything else." They're like, "You can come back," you know what I mean? I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want them to walk back over there and do all that stuff again."
There you go, Matt. Thank you for making the time for us, for doing this live from your car, dealing with the phone calls and everything. We appreciate it. The WFO audience appreciates it. I appreciate it.
Hey.
Thank you for what you've done, bringing the sport back, man. Great win, big race, and you get to go again this weekend.
Yeah, brother, we're glad. And like I always end it with thank you to our fans, obviously the folks that watching your show and the ones that aren't, like the folks that are supporting what we do and our sponsors with Mopar and Pennzoil and Sandvik and all the folks that do that and support that. We truly can't do this without them. And as much as I'd like to say we're a rock star and we're doing this, and we can't do it without our fans. So thank you so much for everything that the fans support, all the way down to buying a bottle of oil or a Mopar part or whatever it may be. It does resonate, and it comes back, and you guys keep us in jobs.
That's it. Simple as that. All right. Enjoy your salad. Appreciate it. And good luck this weekend. And I hope you're right about Denver. That would be great. And we all got our fingers crossed. So good luck this weekend. And thank you for making the time.
Thank you, brother. See you.
All right. Later, Matt. Be good. Take care. There he goes. Matt Hagan with us here on WFO. And he's like connecting and reconnecting and doing what he's got to do. And that's it. That's the way of the world here on WFO now. In the modern, what is it? It's 4:30. Live. We're live. It's 4:30. This is where Jason Line was going to be on the show, except no Jason. No Jason. I know Mike Heiner is probably very disappointed out there. We were going to get to the bottom of what happened and why the car didn't start in qualifying, which Jason has blamed on Mike. And Mike is a loyal listener to WFO. But that is not happening today. We're going to try to connect with Jason tomorrow. This is a new universe for WFO in that typically Monday, Tuesday, while the drivers are traveling back, I would just get them on the phone. Now that we're doing the video show, it's a lot different. We want to be able to see them. It's definitely worth it. Of course, the podcast audience gets to hear everything no matter what. The Patreons get to hear even more than that. But in this case, we're going to just kind of move Jason from today to tomorrow if he can. It's a cell service. This definitely takes a little more bandwidth than previous, and we'll try to make it happen. But we're kind of learning the new protocols with this as well. And if ever there is a driver that doesn't make it or can't make it to this live show, that's why we have the podcast. And you should all be subscribers. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play. Subscribe, write a review. We really appreciate those reviews. We need them. 5 stars, 10 stars, 20 stars. That's not even an option. And then you can hear everything, plus our Ignition show and all that. I really think that this is kind of an advertisement just for the podcast. We got the Ignition show, etc. But if for some reason I can't catch up with the driver because there's no bandwidth, there's no time, there's no ability, it will be on the podcast one way or another, and all kinds of great stuff. Quick reminder, get yourself some WFO radio stickers for free. I send them out for free. You just got to send me. You got to do the busy work. Self-addressed stamped envelope to P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33084. The WFO masks are out of stock. Everybody wanted them. But if you want a WFO radio t-shirt, you can go to nitrofishracing.com. I heard that the trailer was on the grounds at the Lucas Oil Raceway, and they had the shirts in stock. Go to nitrofishracing.com. Use the promo code WFO20, and you're going to get 20% off whatever shirt you buy. because you're a WFO radio listener. So get some gear up. Just what Matt was saying about it. Let's see what other comments. If you got a comment or a question for me, put it up in the comment section right now. But of course, love for you to follow at Instagram or on Twitter. I put out some stuff. I'm a retweeter on Twitter. Really. Podcasts, subscribe, write a review. YouTube, subscribe, click the bell. We're getting ready to roll into some YouTube-specific content that will not be anywhere else, only on YouTube. Car reviews and that kind of stuff. Now that we have got a YouTube following, and I got to get up over 1,000 subscribers. So let's make that happen. It's a big milestone. We're less than that. So get on YouTube. Also want to say shout out to Steve Brenwald, who does our graphic art. Get this. Steve Brenwald's wife has, out of nowhere, decided to start a bunny where, like they save bunnies, right, from the chopping block, if you will. And they've got like a bunny habitat now that they're doing. And we're going to, if you're interested in adopting a bunny, you should reach out to me. But not anybody that you get vetted. You're not allowed to eat them. You gotta want a bunny as a pet. Steve Brenwald doing a great job. But the bunny habitat, he's out there working. He does art for WFO and builds the bunny habitat. And that's it. And this thing is getting bigger. It's like he lives in a giant habit trail. Remember those? Habit trail? Nobody remembers that. Rodax Coffee and Grills.com. Marvin Rodak, hot sauces and spice rubs, everything good. If you haven't ordered Rodax Coffee, give him a call. Do it now. 817-924-6821. Order a bag of coffee and some habanero endorphin booster hot sauce and report back. I guarantee you're going to love it. Marvin is the best. Also, Total Seal piston rings, the leader in ring seal technology. From stock eliminator to Formula One. We got new episodes of the Hidden Horsepower podcast. We got so many podcasts rolling out of WFO studios, man. A lot of podcasts. Why? To let you know that Total Seal are the piston rings that you should buy if you're a racer or an engine builder or getting your engine done. It's as simple as that. TotalSeal.com. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Frank Atlanta, doing great things up there in Gainesville, Florida. Super comp, super gas licensing. You could learn to drive an alcohol funny car if you're really serious into it. If you're a bracket racer who wants to get better, they can train you to do it the right way. Will you win? Nobody knows. Will you have a better chance at winning? Yes, you will. FrankHawley.com. And of course, samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Go to samtech.edu, and we got a brand new episode with Drew Skillman, who attacks Bo Butner viciously. And Bo is not on the entry list. And now, did Bo pull out of the race because Drew attacked him viciously? That's a mystery that we do not know. I don't think it's true. Bo is also running. He's running pro modified this weekend, so he's not running factory stock. But the episode with Mark Powick and Scott Libisher, if you like these factory showdown cars, you got to subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just put it in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. You will find it. But it's all to let you know that you can become a crew chief. You can get a career in machining at samtech.edu. And there you have it. WFO drawing to a close. I do want to check out these comments, though. I was just killing time until we got some comments. Let's see. Most definitely subscribe. Joe is the best in the business. 100% says Dugenet. Thank you very much, Dugenet. You will receive your check in the mail. No, you know what? I really appreciate what he's saying, and I don't have to be the best in the business. It's not about best. It's about what you like. There are people who have been listening to WFO for 10 years. We've been doing this for longer than 10 years. I've been broadcasting motorsports since 1999 in Miami, Florida. Went to XM Satellite Radio, worked there for a while, started WFO, been grinding it out as a podcaster for a long time. You either like it and enjoy it and can handle it, or you don't. And that's it. You move on. There are others who do a different job. Maybe you like them better. Maybe you can't stand the look of my face or the sound of my voice. Like, that's just the way it is. I know it. I dig it. And if you're not liking the show, there's another show out there that you like. But hopefully, if you like drag racing, you realize that WFO, we get the winners every week, and we have for over 10 years. And we're the little guy. We're not the mom and pop. We're the mom and pop store going up against the big corporation. The big corporations, they're all out there. MRN, PRN, and then here we are, WFO, fighting against those giant corporations, the little small business, trying to make it happen, big go in the world, so that I can, not work under the big corporate monolithic rules. But I'll tell you about that. That's why you listen to the Ignition Show. The Ignition Show is all that kind of stuff. Keith says, thankful for the broadcasts, Keith. Thank you. I'm thankful for the listeners. Thank you so much. Don says, what's up? Will you be going to Denver if NHRA goes? I don't know. Here's what I have been told. All right. I'll give you the breakdown, because the best thing I do is I get to go out to NHRA National events and do the walking tours. The thing that I love the most, the reason I started this show, is I worked on NASCAR radio for a while, since the very beginning, before XM had 2 million subscribers, right? Before they merged, before they had 2 million subscribers, still a relatively new company. And all this niche broadcasting, like, well, if NASCAR, I was a drag racer, a bracket racer, won track championships, loved drag racing the most, and love all other racing also. And was able to get a job at NASCAR radio. And so, of course, but would sneak in drag racing talk here and there. Tommy Johnson would call in. We would respect drag racing because it is the most extreme and intense motorsport on the planet. And so when I started WFO, it was all about drag racing needs that also. The fans are just deprived of the personalities of the drivers. And that's why we started WFO. And then getting a job at NHRA, I wanted to continue that. The people who just come out to a race because they saw the commercial, I want to help them fall in love with the sport the way we have. To fall in love and want to follow and want to be a part of this sport because of the people, the way that we have. And so NHRA has given me that opportunity with the walking tours and all these different fan engagement things. But if there's no fans, there's not a lot of sportsman cars there. The YouTube show I do, Attention in the Pits, where we basically introduce all these great, amazing people, Lucas Oil Series racers, to the big fan base and say, not only is Nitro cool, but Stock Eliminator is cool. We don't have them on the grounds. There wasn't a lot of reason for me to be there. So Denver is going to be a real race from what I understand. It's going to be a full race. We will have learned from what we're doing now. And so I hope to be there. And I've been told that there is a good chance that I will be there. If it doesn't happen, then maybe the next one, you just hold on to hope. Don says, what's up from Connecticut? Let's see. Can you comment on the cost of nitro, what McMillan was saying about it on Comp Plus interview? Okay, so what I'm commenting, I've read a like 500 comment thread on Facebook the other day. The number is like $1,600 for 42 gallons. And I saw that I wasn't going to put Matt Hagan on the spot with that while he was getting ready to go eat lunch. He already gave us a half hour. That's an Alan Reinhardt style question. That's why you listen on Tuesdays. And here's the thing. Supply is low and demand is kind of low. And there's only a couple of places to get it. And to get it, you got to jump through many, many hoops because it is such a volatile thing. So the number is the number. And I've heard like $1,600 plus for 42 gallons. What can be done about that? I don't know. Subsidizing, like, do we, there are certain products that the government subsidizes things like farms and stuff. Do we want them to step in and subsidize nitro? Sure. Are they going to do it? No, they're not. It's a complex problem. As people have discussed drag racing and like what is the most vital thing to keep drag racing going, nitromethane is one of those elements. Tires, nitromethane. These are things that you can't race without. So instead of lamenting how much it is, which is obviously a bummer, I'm thankful we have it. I'm thankful we have the nitro, because if there's no nitro, there's no nitromethane racing. So that's my angle. Let's dig into it. Let's do a little bit more. Let's see. Scott, 10 a.m. Nitro E1 this week. So we kicked it back an hour, which is good. Probably, the friends and neighbors, right? They got a rude awakening, 9 a.m. Let's see. Mark says, I appreciate what you do to promote drag racing. Thank you. Thank you. Again, thank you for listening. Always a good show. Everyone's fluffing me up now. They're giving me like props. Everybody is slapping me on the back. That's why I'm doing this. This is all because Jason Line doesn't have cell service, by the way, to do the show. Let's get Ernie and Dwayne to talk about masks. Yes, the mask talk. Love it. Sports and racers are the best. Of course they are. They're the backbone. Dale Poldy sells nitro. Well, then Dale Poldy needs to get in the mix, man. Get in the mix. That's the thing. This sport is an interconnected web of businesses. If there is something that is too expensive, it is because somebody has set that price. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons that I don't know and understand about it. And so I'm not going to go on and say something that's wrong or inaccurate or misleading. Why does anything cost the price that it costs? Anything. It's got to be profitable, and it's got to be worth doing. Profitable, worth doing. Think of all the compliance. Like I've heard, the Department of Homeland Security is involved. And before you say, oh man, why is the Department of Homeland Security involved? You don't have to think back that far. Think about why it might be a good idea to keep track of the nitromethane. So if you're in the nitromethane business and you can do it for way cheaper, then you need to get on top of the mountaintop and start screaming and put a proposal in and try to knock off the people who are doing it. Supply and demand. Sign a deal. Become the exclusive. Now, people are already doing that, but it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense for the NHRA. Sunoco Race Fuels, the official exclusive fuel provider. It's got to make sense. You go out to a Sunoco station, you see the NHRA logo. That's worth something. And that puzzle, that calculation, that's what makes everything happen. NHRA needs sponsorship as well. This guy, Brian Warner, uses Sunoco Blue. I use Sunoco as well. It's available at the race place that I work. Speaking of sportsman racers, by the way, thank you for your angle on the Nitro. I've subscribed and look forward to your show. Oh, good. We got one. Thank goodness. That's it. My job's over now. We got one. Thank you, Mr. What is it? PF Flyer? I don't know. It's probably profane, and I'm just not getting it. That's happened before. This is a very expensive sport. Let's go into that, and then we'll end it up. This is a very expensive sport, not just drag racing, but all racing. All racing in general is a very expensive sport. If it wasn't, there'd be a lot more people doing it. But the reason it's expensive is because we got to keep it safe, and we want to go 330 miles per hour. And whether your bare bones piece of material, like the billet aluminum that they use for the blocks, it's not cheap. Carbon fiber, everything that's super lightweight to go fast. Things that are evolved, like carbon fiber injectors versus the big aluminum injectors. Well, the aluminum ones would be cheaper, but they'd be heavier and not as safe. So it's this massive calculation that if you're just typing, and I don't mean to say this to you guys who are typing in right now, but people can start a thread. Why is this so expensive? Why can't they make it cheaper? But there is a reason it has evolved to this. There's a reason it's expensive. You got to travel all these cities. We want to share the sport with all these fans. You got to bring your crew. How many people does it take? Well, it takes this many people because we got to turn the cars around to get on live TV, to be live. Do you guys remember not that long ago when the biggest problem in the sport was we weren't on TV at the time that everybody said we were going to be on? That was the biggest problem. Oh, the Little League softball or baseball or whatever it was, tiddlywinks, ping pong was on, and it would knock NHRA off for a couple of hours, and you never knew when the show was going to be on, and you didn't watch, and the numbers were not great. This past weekend and this coming weekend, not only do you know exactly when it's going to be on, and it's going to be on exactly when they say, but also it's going to be on Fox Broadcast Network, Big Fox, where the Simpsons are. Big Fox. That is a quantum leap forward. And does anyone think back yeah, man, that was a terrible thing. It's so great. The sport has evolved so much. Not so much. NHRA.TV, I'll tell you about my day. I got to write my National Dragster column. If you're an NHRA member, you get it. And since I was not there, I'm going to write about my experience. And so for 9 a.m., boom, NHRA.TV. Was able to watch to the semis before the television show came on. Then put on the TV. Get to see both, watching both, getting ready for the finals. And Fox is getting ready, going through the broadcast, Brian and Tony. And it was just drag racing overload. And the people I was with, were they annoyed? I don't know. But I got fans. I got people that watch, keep up with it, learn all the drivers, follow along. What's Hartford doing? What's everybody doing? What's Bo Butner up to? Kyle Koretsky last week, everybody on WFO. This guy says it's just his initials. Monica loves the show. Can't wait for Attention in the Pits episodes. Yeah, me either. I want to do some. What's your opinion why JFR didn't show at Indy? The answer is, I genuinely do not know. I genuinely do not know. And here's the difference. I'm not a breaking news journalist. That's not what I do. Like a investigative journalist who tries to find out the reasons for that. We have those out there. That's what Bobby Bennett does. He does a great job. Competition Plus. Bobby, beat COVID, investigative journalist, goes out there to investigate. Susan Wade, investigative journalist, goes out to investigate. That's not what WFO is. We prefer that the news is announced. Like, I have no doubt that when John is ready to talk, there's a really high probability that will be one of the people he wants to talk to. Why? Because I'm not speculating about what the reasons that might be, because my imagination can come up with a million things. What's my opinion? Man, I can imagine all kinds of crazy stuff that might be the case. But that's not the reason. John knows the reason. John will interact with his fans at a time of his choosing. And when that time comes, who's he going to choose to talk to? We've been very fortunate that in those cases in the past, John usually considers us as an option. And at that point, we'll know and we'll get it. So that's why I prefer to stay away from that stuff. If hopefully that's acceptable to you. And if not, that's what WFO is. And it's we get a lot of scoops. I think we get more than our fair share of scoops. But we don't blow up things that people aren't ready to talk about yet. And I think that's why we get our scoops. Let's see. Can we talk factory stock with Jeff now? You talking about Turk? Who are you talking about? Go to Factory Stock Podcast on Apple Podcasts right now, and you can hear the latest, greatest Factory Stock Showdown, except the fact that Bo wasn't entered at the time. The early eliminations was so they could get in NASCAR on time. Great. You get in broadcasting, you want a great lead in, or you want something great on afterwards that people will tune in a little early to see. And either way, when you can get connected to NASCAR, NASCAR's ratings are up this year. I think that will work. Let's see. My kiddo was up early and ready to tune in on NHRA.tv. Hated ESPN when they would delay the broadcast. Love Fox Sports. Look, no offense to ESPN, but Fox Sports is treating the NHRA much better. That is indisputable fact. They recognize in this era of on-demand and DVRs that live sports and a sport like the NHRA is got value. And they have been doing, I think, a great job. So there you go. What else? Love your honest answer, Joe. Thank you. Please sell me the tree. The tree is from the starting line from Miami Hollywood Speedway, which is no longer in existence. That is the actual starting line Christmas tree, the track where I got started and Daryl Gwynn got started and so many others. To buy that from me, it would take a big number, but feel free to make an offer. Just jumped on. Did Jason talk any junk? Yes, Mike Heiner. Jason Line said the most terrible things about you that you won't even believe. Jim Norris says, Turk's on here now. You know what? I can't see Turk. He didn't sign in. No, Heiner. Jason was not on. We did not have him. He's got no cell service where he lives. So there you go. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. The archives are rocking. Go check them out. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to you. 4 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to try to connect with Jason. We got Billy, and we got Flying Ryan Ayler. See you then.